Hey, so this is video 3 of how to make an electronics box in Inventor. I said when I got to 1,000 subscribers I'd do a shout out to my man Kyle Withy, so there you go Kyle, shout out for you. I hope you appreciate it. Anyway, this video, what we're going to do, I'm assuming by now you've finished your model. Since the last video I've added in a bunch more tabs, so every panel's kind of locked together. I'm pretty happy that this is all going to work and fit, so I've got my finished box. Obviously you may well have gone a bit further. If you want to put holes in for LEDs and stuff, or speakers or switches, you need to make sure you do that on your model as well, because you might as well get the laser cutter to cut those holes for you rather than having to drill them out by hand in the workshop. Anyway, so when you've got your finished model, you're going to present it to put in your coursework or your project folder, and this video is going to show you how to do that. So first thing, I'd recommend making your object look pretty, nice and pretty. So change the materials. Easiest way to do that is firstly select the whole object, and up here at the top, I did show you this in another video, but you've got a whole bunch of materials to pick one. So pick a material that represents the colour or natural material that you're going to finish this in. So I don't know, pick something that looks classy, you know, and make sure if you're making this thing out of wood, don't make it a transparent material, because there ain't no such thing as transparent wood. Okay, so for instance I've picked white oak. I mean, it might be a little bit dark, I might actually pick something a little bit lighter just to show you. So wood painted white, that looks quite nice. Other things I would recommend doing before you take any screenshots, go to view, and where it says visual style, I would turn on shaded with edges, and you'll see that draws in all the lines. That's really good for illustrating to the examiner or to me how all these panels lock together, so I can be confident that this box is going to work and not be a massive waste of wood. Other things you could do, you can mess around with shadows and reflections. So you just click these, you can turn them on, turn on reflections. If like mine your shadow is sort of the wrong way round, because my box shouldn't be that way up, there's a little trick for this. If you use your cube and basically look at the object from above, and then right click on the tube and go set current view as top, that will rearrange where ground is relative, so you can now see this is now the top, it's labelled the top, and my shadow is on the floor and my reflection is on the floor, as you'd expect to make this like realistic. Right, the other thing, because we're going to be putting this into PowerPoint, I want to get rid of this gradiated background because it doesn't look very good when you put it on a page. So to do that, go over here on the left to options, and you want to go to the colors tab if it's not already there. Under background, choose one color, and then I recommend you pick presentation because that gives you a blank white canvas. Click apply and close. Okay, now there are other options here. You can, I think, change the lighting. You can put it in like a plain room. This may not work on the school computers, by the way. So like I'm in a dome. It's changed the lighting, but it has made it a bit brighter actually. Some of these are good, some of them are rubbish, but I'll leave it up to you what you decide. Or just two lights takes you back to the default. Anyway, so get it looking pretty, and then we're going to take some screenshots of this. And first view I'd do is I would click on the corner of your cube, and these corners will give you a perfect isometric view. And isometric's really good because it shows you 1, 2, 3 sides at once. So do that. If you click this little arrow here and zoom all, that will fit it perfectly to the screen. And then just do the old print screen button on your keyboard and go into PowerPoint and then paste that. And then, because we're pro here, all of you, and you're going to make quality work, of course you are, double click on it and crop out any of the toolbars and background gubbins, so you're just left with a nice rendered picture of your intended design. And what I want on these couple of pages is a series of views that show it like that. So you might do that view, you might then go and do a full-on sideways view. It's quite nice, just to give you a side profile. Okay, so I'm just going to speed up this process. Alright, and you know, don't be afraid to shrink these, have them different sizes. This is just to illustrate how it looks. Okay, so you might want to do maybe a front view, might look quite good, something like that. I'm just doing keyboard shortcuts, by the way. Control C, you know, print screen, and then Control V to paste. Okay. The reason for the white background is it allows you to get the pictures closer look, and not have the background interfere with how it all looks. So that's why we do that. You're going to annotate these and label what they are. Maybe let's do another isometric view now. So just rotate my cube a bit. I'm going to look at it from the back corner. So click that. Let's get a print screen of that. You don't have to do the views I'm doing, by the way. Just do whatever views you think look cool and show off your product properly. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, I might put that front view over there just because it looks a bit better next to it like that. Because you can kind of imagine this is what we'd call like an orthographic drawing, or starting to be. So we've got some good views there. Now unfortunately that doesn't show us really how this all fits together, or things like how the battery access works. So we're going to use a different mode in Inventor now. Save your work is always worth doing. Right, while this is open, go up here and where it says new, come across and then down to presentation. Now you get a different environment load up. You're going to go over to the left and click create view, and just click OK, because it will load up the view you've already got open behind. Right, next thing you're going to do is called tweak components. So that's this option here, and you've got three options. You pick, I don't know why they're in this order, but you always pick the component you want to move first, then you choose the direction, and I'll show you how it works. It's just easier. So I'm going to pull all these panels apart to kind of give a better idea of how they fit together. So I'd recommend leaving display trails on. You'll see what it does. So pick the component, let's say this one, then go and get direction, click on it again, and now if you just grab these arrows you can kind of pull the object out and away. Click clear when you're done, and then just do that for all your components. So click that, click direction, grab it and pull it out. Okay, always click clear when you're ready to move another one. Alright, and I'll just show you what I'm doing, kind of building it up in stages. This is what we'd call an exploded diagram. You should be familiar with this from when we've done our drawings in the past. But normally you have to do all this by hand, and it's really tricky to do, particularly if you can't draw in 3D. Okay, so just fill your boots doing that. Okay, now I'm just going to do the battery door, last one. There we go. Clear and close when you're done. Now if you kind of rotate around by holding F4, you get some really nice pictures here that can animate your kind of, just give a better idea of how your project goes together. Alright, so you can see all the tabs, you can see kind of where each panel fits. So again, I'll leave it to your judgment as to how far you move all these bits, but I'll get a couple of exploded view screenshots as well. So print screen, so I'm going to put one of those in. Do the old croppy doodah. Looking good. Alright, and don't be afraid to go back and change the tweaks and stuff if you want to. Not that you can show a video in your folder, but just for coolness sakes, if you go out to animate and click play, it will kind of unwrap all those things you did, and you can actually record this and then make it into a video format. You can do all sorts with this program. Just to show you in the background, for instance, we've our new status racing car, our team leader Dan has put this together and recorded a quick video of how our new car is going to look. Okay, that was all done in Inventor. So it is a really, really good bit of software when you get the hang of it. Anyway, so just thought you could show you that. So maybe get a few views of it exploded. The other thing I wanted to show you, you can save the assembly if you want. Call it, oh sorry, presentation this is called. Call it a presentation. Click yes to all. And then go back to your main assembly, and I'm just going to show you one last thing. This isn't particularly important for this box, but I'm going to make a cross section through this now. Under view, you'll have noticed you've got this little option here. You can do what's called a half section, 3/4 or quarter section view. So I'm going to go for half section, and I'm going to draw it on here. And what that allows me to do, I don't know if you can see, you can kind of pull that line up and it will take a section through the drawing. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best one to pick. I'm going to do my half section view on the side and then pull it this way. Okay, and then click the tick when I'm done. Now don't worry, you haven't permanently cut your object in half. You can always get it back, but that sometimes, particularly if you'd taken the time to build models of your circuit board and your battery holder and your display or whatever and put them in here, doing a cross section is really useful. So take a print screen of maybe a cross section view as well. So I'm looking for a mix of stuff here to show that you followed this video and that you made a decent go at this. As I said in the last video, if you can do this stuff, the examiner will love you. Not literally, of course, but you know, they'll think you're quite good. So have a look at that now, looking pretty good. I'm not going to take the time to annotate it, but I expect you guys to, so I want you to tell me what the views are. So exploded view, cross section view, you know, isometric, top down, side view, front view, isometric, rear view. Explain any information you think I need to know. So tabs here locked together, this is the battery door, this is where my display is going to go, my LEDs are going to go here, my switch will be on the back, whatever. I want as much info as you can put there. The more info the better, because, you know, just because annotation is good. Okay, so you've got a page like that, annotated of course, not like mine. And the next thing you're going to do is to do what's called a dimension drawing as well. So, oh, by the way, if you want to return this back to its former glory, where it says half section view, just go back and click end section, and that will bring it back to how it was. Okay, going to do a dimension drawing now. So save your work. You're going to go up here, new, and this is the last thing that Inventor can do. We're going to make a drawing. These are great for providing plans if you wanted someone else to build it, for instance. It might take a little while to load. Now hopefully if you've got your drawing open in the background, you just go up to base view and just move it out of the way, and you should see, if you move your mouse over here, you've got a picture, and you can choose by clicking these options here which is your starting view. So I'm going to do a top-down view like that. Now we're not going to have much room to put other pictures on there, so I need to scale this down, and you can, by the way, what I did there was right click OK. Anyway, when you get to this, if you hover, you see these little red lines appear. When you're inside those red lines, you can double click and you get a menu like that appear, and you can change the scale. So if I did 2 to 1, that should make it twice as big, which is the opposite of what I want to do. I actually want to do 1 to 2, and that's made it half the size it was before. Right, that's a bit more respectable, but I'll let you decide which is an appropriate size. By the way, here, other options, if you double click on it, you can tick this little circle down here. If you click OK, what that does is that shows you hidden details. So can you see in dotted lines we've now got any lines that aren't visible from the top, so the battery door, these little thickness panels here. You can also click this one, shaded, which will give you a coloured in version. Usually on a drawing we don't bother having them coloured in because it adds extra confusion. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to show hidden lines or not. Okay, right, easy thing now. You've got your top view. You can now go up to projected, and if you just go near your object now and move, it will draw you some viewpoints of your project. Okay, you can just place as many as you want, and when you're happy you right click create and it will draw them for you, and now you can move them around. Now you'll notice, because this is what's called an orthographic drawing, these are lined up, so the front view, side view, and they will always stay that way. That's fine. And I think if you change the scale of this one, so say if you made it 1 to 1.5, those will all enlarge with it. Any that are drawn in 3D won't enlarge. Okay, so anyway, you got that, and now we're just going to annotate this and do some other details on it. So if If you go to the annotate panel, you've got all these tools for putting information on. I just want you to put some rough overall dimensions and maybe some labels to explain what it is. So you've got the dimension tool here, dead easy to use, like you do in sketch mode. You just click between 2 points and it will tell you how big that part is. You might get this menu pick up, just click OK. If you get a weird value like 150.3, you can click override display and type in a manual override of that number there. So if I wanted to lie and pretend this was 152, I can do that, but it isn't, so I'm not. Right, so I just want you to put the main dimensions in, maybe the thicknesses, okay, like I'm doing here. You know, so we know the wood is all 4mm thick. Be careful where you put your dimensions. Alright, and you know, you don't need to repeat dimensions, so you only do dimensions on the one drawing. You don't have to show the same dimension on another drawing. Okay. If you want to do angles, you can just do that by clicking between 2 points that are at an angle, and it will come out like that and give you the angle. Okay, same in here. I haven't got any drill holes on this, but you can also do, if you just click a dimension on a hole, it will give you the diameter of it or the radius. Okay, so just give us some rough dimensions to show you've experimented with this. And again, this is golden stuff to go in your coursework or your project folder. It will make me or the examiner very happy if you do so. Right, that's your dimensions, so dimension the hell out of it. And then we're going to go and just put some text on. So your text should be telling me things like how you intend to make the parts and what materials they're going to be made out of and any other special information. So you've got manual text here. You can just use text and just type. You know, so like Mr. Winter is well, no, I was going to say I was a legend. I don't know. Counter projects made from 4mm ply with 3mm acrylic windows, and you can mess around with the font sizes and and the font here, do whatever you like. Okay, so that just becomes an object you can move around. Another more useful text tool is the leader text tool. You can, that's this one up here. What you do is you say, for instance, this bit here is going to be an acrylic window. I'm going to click on there and I'll get an arrow, and I'll click again and I can change my line and have as many as I want. But when you're ready to write your text, you just right click, continue, type what you want to say, 3mm clear acrylic panel, and click OK. There we go, and we've got a nice professional looking label there. This is the kind of drawing that you'd provide to a company if they were going to build it for you. Obviously a lot more detailed and annotated. What's quite nice to do maybe is colour this view in, so I'm going to make that one shaded. If you're not happy with how that's laid out, by the way, double click on it, and see this little change view orientation, click that and it takes you back here. And I think if you then adjust your view here, so let's maybe look at it nice and isometrically, and then click the tick, finish custom view, and then OK, there we go, that's adjusted that viewpoint for me. Alright, so it just makes your drawing look nicer. So annotate the hell out of it, dimension the hell out of it, put your name and stuff in the boxes down here. The last cool little feature you might want to do, you've got this thing called under place views, so back there you've got detail view, is quite cool. This allows you to zoom in on an area. Now this particular bit here has got angles in it and it's got some slotted bits, so I can do a zoomed in view on that. So if I click detail, you just draw detail view, click where you want to draw it, click OK. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh sorry, yeah, you kind of click OK and draw a circle around it, and then I don't know if you can see what that's done. It's kind of, can you see in the box here you've got an enlarged version. That's what this little jagged cutout is, this bit in this little circle box here. Alright, it's just like you can show extra information if you want to zoom in on stuff, so you can maybe mess around with that if it suits your project. Don't have to do it. You can also do cross-section views as well. Look, so you can pick section. If I wanted to slice this, it's on this drawing, and I'm going to slice it down that line there, and then right click continue, and it looks very similar to the side, but if you had your components there, we've sliced through the object now and are looking at it sideways, and that little dotted line over there, B, You see the drawing B refers to this picture B over here. So you can do cross sections and all sort. Very, very, very powerful tool, and this is why it's used by proper companies to make proper products. Everything from cars to mobile phones is designed in this software or very similar, right? So your second bit is to make me a nice dimension drawing like that, and then save that as a PDF. I think you might have to export actually, so export as a PDF. Save it somewhere where you'll remember. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to call it counter dimensions, and then put that PDF in your, either print it or put it into your PowerPoint. Alright, the reason I say do a PDF is because it preserves the resolution. If you do a screenshot of this like that, it will only screenshot at the resolution it is here, and all this text will be really blurred and it will look naff. So you can then put a new slide in, and then you can just take your, I think you can insert your PDF or as a picture or whatever into here. Okay, so that's what I want in your folder. If you get this in there, you're going to be heading for the A grade marks. Obviously it needs to be annotated, so 3D views and your nice lovely pretty dimension drawing, and that proves to me in the examiner that you made a CAD model and that you have got skills. Yes. Okay. It's getting pretty late now. It's 11 o'clock. I should probably go to bed because I'm starting to talk like a lunatic. There we go.